If you're trying to lose belly fat, but it feels like your waist just won't respond, pay attention. You may not need more willpower. You need 5 practical adjustments that almost nobody does the right way. And I warn you right now, the third tip is the one that most often unlocks fast results, but it only works if you avoid a mistake most people make without even realizing it. Stay with me until the end, because beyond the 5 tips, I'll also give you a simple step-by-step plan you can start today without getting lost in 1,000 rules. A lot of people cut carbs for a few days, go hungry, get irritated, lose a little, and then stall. What will be different here is the focus. It's not about suffering. It's about lowering a hormone that prevents your body from burning abdominal fat quickly. That hormone is insulin. In this approach, the goal of keto is to reduce insulin as much as possible. With low insulin, you increase fat burning and increase ketosis.
Ketosis is a state in which the body produces ketones, which are byproducts of fat burning. The more ketones, the more you tend to be burning fat, and that speeds up belly reduction. Now, a quick basic. Many people talk about 30 to 50 grams of carbs per day, but if the goal is to speed things up, the guidance is to keep it under 20 grams or less, especially in the beginning. For protein, a practical reference is 1 portion per meal, about the size of the palm of your hand, adjusting for your body, age, and routine. And fat, yes, becomes a large part of your calories. But hold on, because fat requires a strategy. In a moment, you'll understand when to increase it and when to decrease it, without falling into the trap of stalling your progress. Let's go to tip number 1. Instead of obsessing over counting carbs all day and stressing out, it's much easier to choose carbs you basically don't have to count. The focus here is leafy greens and salads.
The idea is that salads are rich in fiber, and fiber is a type of carbohydrate that doesn't create the same impact on insulin. So instead of living with a calculator in your hand, make it a rule. Every day, a big salad. And here's a very clear target. Try to reach at least 7 cups of salad per day. It sounds like a lot, but it becomes easy when you make one simple adjustment. Chop the salad very finely. When it's smaller, it goes down more easily, and you can eat more volume without feeling like you're chewing forever. Another thing, watch the dressing. Many people do everything right and sabotage themselves with dressing that has hidden sugar. The guidance is to choose a dressing with about 1 carb or less, and be careful with sweet ones. And why so much salad? Because this model isn't only low carb. It's the healthy version of keto. You lower insulin and, at the same time, increase nutrients.
Salads help with nutrients like potassium, magnesium, and vitamin C, plus others like vitamin K1, folate, and plant compounds. That helps prevent the annoying early complaints like calf cramps, fatigue, and what many people call the keto flu. And there's one detail that improves adherence. Eat the salad first. If you eat protein first, many people get full and can't finish the salad. Salad first, then protein. Now, tip number 2, protein. There are 2 ways to get this wrong, and both can get in the way. If you eat too much protein, you may feel heavier, slower, and that can interfere with getting into and staying in ketosis. If you eat too little protein, you can feel tired and low energy. So use a simple starting point, a palm-sized portion per meal, adjusted to your body. If you're bigger, younger, or train hard, you may need more. If you're older or feel your metabolism is slower, sometimes less works better. But the detail that changes the game is the type of protein.
Avoid ultra-lean protein. In this view, it's better to choose protein that comes with natural fat. If you're going to eat a burger, choose a fattier one. If it's fish, don't pick the leanest option. Salmon and sardines are examples of fattier fish. If it's chicken, you don't have to live on skinless breast. Using parts with skin and fat can be better. If you're eating steak, you don't have to cut off all the fat. The natural fat is part of the plan. And why? Because very lean protein tends to stimulate more insulin than fattier protein. And there's a specific caution about whey protein because it's very dry, with little fat, and can stimulate insulin. The point isn't to demonize protein. The point is, protein with natural fat usually aligns better with the goal of keeping insulin low. Now comes tip number 3, which is the turning point: fat and intermittent fasting, used strategically. If the goal is to lose belly fat fast, it's not only keto.
It's keto together with intermittent fasting. This combination is described as very powerful for faster results because it helps deepen ketosis. And here's the practical part. If you're starting, increasing fat at meals can be very useful at first because it keeps you satisfied and helps you go longer without eating.
And going longer without eating is exactly what makes it easier to adopt fasting without suffering. So examples of fats you can use early on: nuts like pecans, macadamias, olives, avocado, more olive oil on your salad, and in some cases, MCT oil. The initial goal is simple: feel so satisfied that you can skip breakfast. One suggested routine is eating your first meal around noon and your second around 6 in the evening. And over time, you can tighten the window, bring the two meals closer together. In some cases, you end up doing one meal a day, the famous OMAD.
Now pay close attention, because here's the mistake that silently destroys belly fat burning: eating without hunger. If you're not hungry, don't eat. It sounds simple, but many people ruin it because they eat by habit, by the clock, because they have to eat, because they always eat lunch at that time. In this logic, every time you eat, you stimulate insulin, and high insulin blocks ketosis. That's why intermittent fasting matters. It keeps insulin lower for longer and allows the body to truly burn fat. And now comes the part almost nobody explains correctly. Eating too much fat can, yes, slow weight loss, depending on the phase. Why? Because if the body has to choose between burning the fat you just ate or the fat you have stored, it tends to burn dietary fat first. And what you want is for it to burn your abdominal fat. So here's the strategy secret. In the beginning, more fat can help you adapt, control hunger, and start fasting. But when your appetite drops and you're adapted, you don't need to keep pouring on extra fat. That's when you reduce extras like MCT and excessive nuts and stick more to the natural fat that comes with protein and the olive oil on your salad without overdoing it. The idea is not to go low fat. The idea is simply not to interfere with the burning of your own body fat when your body is ready to do it. If you want a simple sign, when you notice you're not hungry, cravings are lower, and you can go more hours without eating comfortably, that's exactly the moment when extra added fats can be reduced. That's where many people break through a plateau. Now, tip number 4, nutrients. When you do keto with fasting, you reduce the number of meals, so it becomes easier to fall short on nutrients. And there's the idea that in ketosis, the demand for certain nutrients may increase. That's why the guidance emphasizes B vitamins, electrolytes, and salt.
One example mentioned for B vitamins is nutritional yeast, with a note to avoid versions fortified with synthetic vitamins. And now, a very direct message. If you don't add salt, you can feel weak. Many people think they're getting sick from keto, but in practice, it may be a lack of electrolytes and salt. So do something simple. Don't be afraid to use sea salt. And remember tip number 1. When you eat a big salad, your need for electrolytes may be lower because you increase minerals like potassium and magnesium. Nutrients aren't a detail. Nutrients are what keep you consistent. Tip number 5. This has to become a lifestyle. If all of this feels like punishment, you'll quit. The idea is that over time, you tend to feel improvements in energy, mood, and cognition, and you'll also see your belly shrink, and that becomes fuel to keep going. But some people miss a treat after a meal, so the idea is to have low-carb options that don't sabotage the process. One example mentioned is low-carb chocolate, like Lily's, in a small amount. Not a whole bar, just a piece that feels pleasurable without triggering binging. Another idea is making keto desserts a few times per week as something enjoyable to finish the meal that helps you stay on the plan without feeling like you lost the right to enjoy food. Now, before the step-by-step, 2 golden rules. Rule number 1, if something is working, don't change it. Many people start getting results and decide to reinvent everything, changing too much, and they create their own plateau. Rule number 2, if it isn't working, then you do change something. Adjust variables instead of repeating the same mistake for weeks. And there's an important phrase to close the mindset. You don't lose weight to get healthy. You get healthy first, and weight loss comes as a consequence. The goal is to build a body that burns fat naturally and consistently. Now, the step-by-step to start today, without complication. At your next meal, start with the salad. Increase the volume gradually until you get close to 7 cups per day. Then add a palm-sized portion of protein, and prioritize proteins with natural fat, avoiding ultra-lean options. In the beginning, use enough extra fat to feel satisfied and be able to skip breakfast without suffering. After your hunger drops, cut the extras and keep the basics without overdoing it. Push your first meal later, and above all, don't eat without hunger. And finally, ensure salt and electrolytes so you don't feel weak and quit halfway through.
If you want to turn this into a simple plan you can follow, and one that actually unlocks belly fat loss, do this now. Subscribe, leave a like, and comment checklist, and I'll send you a quick checklist with the most common mistakes and how to adjust.
And answer this. Do you prefer to start with 2 meals a day, or do you want to try working toward 1 meal a day later on?